The first time I met Princess Ariel of the Serathian Dominion, I thought she was going to kill me. The Serathians were a proud, scaled, silver-skinned race, elegant, cold, and impossibly tall. Their empire had spanned 5 galaxies before humanity even left its own solar cradle. I, Ambassador Nathan Hale, was the first human ever allowed to step foot inside their crystalline citadel on Viral Prime. My mission was simple: prevent another war. The last one had left millions dead, including my wife. I was chosen not because of politics, but because I had fought alongside Serathians in the trenches of their border worlds. They respected bravery, even if they thought humans were impulsive. When Ariel entered the Grand Hall, the entire chamber fell silent. Her armor shimmered like liquid silver, flowing seamlessly into her pale violet skin. Her eyes glowed with bioluminescent gold, and when she spoke, her voice carried an ethereal resonance that made the air itself vibrate. "Human Envoy," she said, standing before the throne. "You are late." Bowed. "My apologies, Your Highness." Space traffic. Hard to navigate 5 million light-years without missing a turn. A murmur spread through the audience. Humor was not common among Serathians, but the faintest curl of her lips betrayed amusement. That was the first time I saw her smile. We began working together on the Alliance Accord, a treaty meant to end centuries of mistrust between her people and mine. Every day, I would walk through the floating corridors of the Citadel, past windows showing swirling nebulae, to meet her in the negotiation chamber. At first, she was all business, formal, reserved, her words sharp and precise. But as the days turned into weeks, something began to shift. One evening, I found her alone in the observation garden, standing beneath a canopy of luminous vines that shimmered with starlight. She was gazing at Earth's tiny blue hologram projected above the table. "Your world is chaotic," she said. "No single leader, no unifying voice. Yet you build, you explore, you survive. It defies logic." "Maybe that's our secret," I replied. "We don't need perfection to keep moving forward." She looked at me, then really looked. Her golden eyes softened. "Perhaps that is why the universe watches you with curiosity." That night was the first time she laughed at one of my jokes. And it was the first night I realized I was in trouble. The forbidden connection. Over the next month, we became inseparable. We trained together in the Citadel's combat hall, her blades humming with plasma, my pulse rifle whining in defiance. She would correct my stance, her hands briefly resting on my shoulder or wrist, sending electric warmth through me. She told me about her childhood, how she had been raised to rule, never to feel. "Serathian hearts beat differently," she once said. "We are taught that emotion is weakness." "And yet," I teased, "you laugh at my terrible jokes." She tilted her head. "Perhaps I am defective." But she wasn't. She was alive. More alive than anyone I'd met since the war. Then came the day of the Council Summit. Delegates from both sides gathered to sign the accord, a historic peace that would change everything. But during the final negotiations, everything fell apart. A rogue Serathian general, Lord Varric, stormed the chamber with his soldiers. "Traitor," he hissed, pointing at Ariel. "You would dilute our blood with these fragile apes." Blasters were drawn. Energy crackled. Before I could react, Ariel stepped in front of me, her wings, translucent and silver-edged, unfurling in a flash of light. The Serathians gasped. Even I froze. It was the first time I saw her reveal her true form, not the armored diplomat, but the heir of the Serathian throne, descendant of the stellar matriarchs. "Stand down," she commanded. Her voice thundered like a solar storm. But Varric lunged forward, blade raised, straight at me. She moved faster than thought. The sound of plasma clashing filled the air as she intercepted the strike, driving her blade through his armor. When it was over, she was breathing heavily, silver blood dripping from her arm. I caught her as she fell. "Why would you do that?" I whispered, pressing my hand against the wound. Her eyes fluttered open. "Because," she breathed, voice trembling, "I could not bear to lose you." That night, I stayed by her side in the medbay. Her people wanted me gone, but she overruled them. When she woke again, she reached for my hand. "Among your kind," she asked quietly, "is it true that when two souls share a bond they marry?" I hesitated. "Yes, but marriage is complicated." She turned her face toward me, eyes glowing softly in the dim light. "Complicated. That is a human word for what Serathians fear most. Connection." Then she said it. "I wish you were my husband, human." The words echoed in my mind like a thunderclap. I froze, unable to speak. Not because I didn't want it, but because I did. More than anything. Middle continued. Between duty and desire. Ariel's confession changed everything. Rumors spread across the Citadel. Whispers of the alien princess and the human envoy. The council grew restless. Serathian nobles demanded her removal from the treaty. Some even plotted to exile her. I tried to stay away to protect her from the storm, but she found me again on the terrace overlooking the twin suns. "Do you regret it?" she asked softly. "What?" "My words." I swallowed. "Do you?" She shook her head, her silver hair glinting under the light. "No. I regret waiting so long to say them." Before I could respond, the sky erupted with streaks of light, enemy ships bearing Varric's crest. His loyalists were attacking the Citadel. The alarms wailed. We ran through the corridors, dodging explosions. Ariel grabbed a plasma staff, tossing me a rifle. "Stay close," she commanded. "You're giving me orders now." I shouted over the chaos. "I always have been," she smirked. We fought side by side, back to back, just like in the trenches months ago. Every move was synchronized. Her fluid strikes, my precise shots. But soon the attackers overwhelmed us. They wanted her alive. Me not so much. A blast knocked me against the wall. Before I could rise, one of the soldiers grabbed Ariel and pinned her against the pillar. "Your betrayal ends here, princess," he hissed. A shot rang out. The soldier fell my shot. She looked at me, chest heaving, eyes wide. For a second the world fell silent. Then she whispered, "You would risk your life for me?" "Every damn time," I said, ending a new dawn. By dawn, the rebellion was crushed. The Citadel burned in places, but the people had rallied behind Ariel, the war hero, the unshakable princess. And beside her, the human who had saved her life. When the peace accord was finally signed, she stood before the Galactic Council and declared her intentions to unite both empires under shared governance. It was a moment that would be recorded in every star system. But when the applause faded and the dignitaries departed, she found me again in the empty hall. "Nathan," she said softly, "your people will return home soon. You will leave, yes?" I hesitated. "That's the plan." Her golden eyes dimmed slightly. "Duty before desire. You sound like a Serathian now." I smiled sadly. "Guess you've rubbed off on me." She stepped closer, her voice trembling slightly, the first hint of emotion she'd ever allowed herself to show. "Then perhaps I should do something human." Before I could ask, she reached out and pressed her forehead to mine, the Serathian gesture of unity. It was intimate, electric, sacred. "On my world," she whispered, This means my heart is yours. Closed my eyes. Then I'll carry it wherever I go. Her lips curved in that faint, perfect smile again. Then so will I. Years later, historians would write about how the first peace between Serathians and humans began with an accident of affection, a moment when two warriors from two different worlds found something stronger than politics or pride. But for me it wasn't history. It was her voice. Those words still echo through my mind whenever I look at the stars. I wish you were my husband, human. And I still can't think of an answer that would have done her justice. Because when a goddess disguised as a warrior says something like that, silence is the only language worthy of it.